Welcome to your personalized deep dive. Today, we're all about Chief Conductors, getting you ready for that big interview.
Yeah,
And we're not just talking about driving a train here.
right.
This is about so much more.
Right.
You're going to be responsible for every single passenger's safety. You'll be managing emergencies. You'll be leading a whole team of conductors. And, yeah, making sure everyone has a smooth ticketing and onboarding process.
It's really a role that brings together operational skills, people skills, and staying cool under pressure.
Exactly. And we're going to help you ace that interview. We'll break down those tough questions, give you some smart approaches, and show you how RoleCatcher can really give you an edge. But first, the career guides we've got, they paint a pretty interesting picture of what's happening in the job market right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Passenger train services, they're seeing a surge in demand.
Right.
And there's a massive emphasis on safety and top-notch customer service. So yeah, if you've got those skills, now is a great time to be a chief conductor.
So let's dive into, the roadmap to becoming a chief conductor. The guides lay out 4 distinct stages in your career, each with more and more responsibility.
So you begin as an entry-level conductor, learning the ropes, you're assisting the chief conductor, and mastering those fundamentals like how to operate the train doors.
Right. Then you move up to junior conductor, taking on more of those operational tasks like handling minor incidents and making sure the passengers are comfortable.
And then you get to senior conductor. Now you're managing technical issues, coordinating with drivers and traffic control. You might even be leading a small team of conductors.
It's like climbing a ladder, Each step gets you ready for the next level of responsibility until finally you reach the top, chief conductor.
And at the top, you're responsible for everything that happens on that train. Passenger safety, train operations, team management, customer service.
Yeah.
It all falls on you.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of this deep dive, those interview questions that everyone wants to know about. First up, what inspired you to become a chief conductor?
This is your moment to let your passion shine through. Show them who you are. Don't just give a generic, by-the-book answer. Dig deeper. What truly pulled you towards this career?
Like maybe you've got this vivid childhood memory of being just captivated by trains. Or maybe it's this deeply ingrained sense of responsibility for passenger safety that sparked your interest.
Right, maybe you had a family member who worked on the railway. Or maybe you took an amazing train journey that you just never forgot.
It's all about finding that genuine connection to the world of railways and letting that enthusiasm come through.
And then imagine they follow up with, what unique skills or experiences do you have that would make you a successful chief conductor?
So that's where we connect our personal story to what the job actually requires, right?
Exactly. Maybe you've got a background in customer service and that's really honed your communication and problem-solving skills. Or maybe you've been in leadership positions before, showing that you can handle teams and pressure.
And that's where a tool like RoleCatcher can be so helpful. Its AI can actually look at the specific job description and pick out those keywords and skills that the employer really cares about.
Yeah, it's like having a personalized cheat sheet. RoleCatcher can highlight phrases like safety-oriented or customer-focused or strong leadership skills. And that allows you to shape your answer to fit what they're looking for.
So it's not just about telling your story, it's about telling the parts of your story that really click with the employer.
Okay, so moving on to another question you'll probably hear. How do you handle difficult passengers or challenging situations? This one really puts your ability to stay calm under pressure to the test.
Well, let's be honest, every chief conductor is going to deal with some difficult passengers. It's just part of the job.
It absolutely is. And the interviewers want to know that you can handle those situations professionally, that you can de-escalate things.
But instead of just saying, I would remain calm and try to resolve the situation, how can we make that answer stronger? How can we make it really stand out?
That's where the STAR method comes in. Situation, task, action, result. Think of a specific time when you had to deal with a challenging passenger or a tough situation, and then use that framework to structure your answer.
Okay, so for instance, we could talk about a time when a passenger refused to follow the safety regulations.
Exactly. The situation is a passenger not following the rules. Your task is to keep all the passengers safe. The action you took was to calmly explain the rules, offer assistance, and maybe involve other crew members or security if needed.
And the result was that the passenger finally followed the rules and everything calmed down.
Right. Using the STAR method makes your story clear and powerful. It shows you can solve problems and maintain order even when things get tough.
Now, what if the interviewer throws in a curveball? What if the passenger gets really agitated, even aggressive, What would you do then?
Well, in that case, you have to show that you know those safety protocols inside and out, and that you know how to de-escalate things. You could mention your training in conflict resolution, your ability to assess threats, or knowing when to call in security or law enforcement.
You're proving that you can handle even those extreme scenarios. Stay cool and always prioritize safety. And speaking of safety, let's talk about the question that's really at the heart of what a chief conductor does. How do you ensure the safety of passengers during an emergency?
This is where you need to give a detailed, specific response. Don't just say, I'd follow the procedures. Paint them a picture. Really walk them through it.
Okay, so let's imagine a situation where the train suddenly has to brake really hard. What would our actions be, step by step?
All right, first, you'd immediately activate those emergency protocols. Communicate clearly with the passengers and the crew using the train's intercom. Reassure everyone that you're addressing the issue and their safety is your top priority.
Then we'd contact the train dispatcher, right? Give them our location and tell them exactly what's going on.
Absolutely, and you'd follow their instructions, put those emergency procedures into action, maybe coordinate with other crew members to check on everyone, hand out emergency supplies if we need to, and get ready for a potential evacuation if it comes to that.
So we're showing them we know those procedures cold and that we can execute them calmly and confidently, even under pressure.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher can be a huge help. Its AI can look at examples of successful answers to this very question, and it can pick out those themes and phrases that really hit home with interviewers.
So we can take those elements and work them into our own answer, make it even stronger, more tailored to what that specific employer wants to hear.
Right, it's like getting a sneak peek at what works. You're not just guessing anymore. You're using data and AI to create the best possible answer.
So let's switch gears for a minute and talk about a question that really focuses on your leadership skills. How do you manage a team of conductors?
This is where you show them you can motivate, delegate, give feedback, and build a team environment that's positive and productive.
It's about being more than just a boss. It's about being a leader who inspires and empowers their team.
That's it exactly. Think about how you lead. Are you more collaborative, or do you give more direct instructions? Do you lead by example, or do you focus on giving clear directions?
Whatever your style is, give them some real-life examples from your experience.
So let's say they ask you, how would you handle a situation where one of your conductors is constantly late, or they're not following safety protocols? This happens, It's a challenge for any chief conductor. And the interviewers want to know you can handle it.
Well, I think I'd start by having a one-on-one conversation with that conductor, privately. Lay out the concerns, what's expected of them.
Exactly. You'd emphasize how important it is to be on time and follow those safety protocols, and how their actions impact the entire team.
You might even offer them extra training or support, if that seems helpful, and set up a clear plan for improvement.
And if things don't get better even after all that, you'd have to follow the disciplinary procedures. But you'd always do it respectfully and fairly.
You're demonstrating that you can address those performance issues directly while still supporting your team and helping them grow.
Now let's tackle that question that everyone gets a little nervous about. What are your salary expectations?
Yeah. This one is tricky. We don't want to sell ourselves short, but we also don't want to ask for too much.
The key is to be prepared and confident. Do your research before the interview. Look up the average salary for chief conductors in your area, in your industry, and with your level of experience.
Sites like Glassdoor and Indeed are really helpful for that.
Once you have a good idea of what's typical, decide on your desired salary range. Think about your qualifications and what the role entails.
And when they ask you in the interview, be clear and direct. You could say something like, based on my experience and what this role involves, I'm looking for a salary between X and Y.
Remember, this is a discussion. Be ready to talk about your expectations and work towards an agreement that benefits both of you.
And again, RoleCatcher can give you some helpful data here. Its AI can analyze salary info for similar jobs in your area, so you'll have a realistic starting point for your negotiations.
Yeah, it's like having an inside scoop on salary trends. You'll feel more informed and more confident going into that conversation. Okay, now let's look ahead a bit. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The classic career aspirations question. This is our chance to show them we're ambitious and that we're thinking about how this chief conductor role fits into our long-term goals.
Exactly. Take some time before the interview to research the company. Look at their growth plans and future projects. Think about how your skills and experience could contribute to their vision.
So if they're expanding into high-speed rail, we might mention how interested we are in specializing in that area.
Right. Or if they're focused on implementing new safety technology, you could highlight your passion for staying ahead of the curve and your willingness to embrace innovation.
We want to show the interviewer that we're not just looking for any job. We're looking for a career path where we can contribute, learn, and make a real difference.
And guess what? RoleCatcher can help you put together a strong answer for this question, too. Its AI can actually analyze the company's website and recent news articles and pick out those key themes related to their future plans.
Wow, it's like having a personal research assistant, making sure we're in the know and ready to impress. Okay, let's move on to a question that can sometimes throw people off. What are your strengths and weaknesses?
This one is a classic, and it's all about being honest and self-aware, but also framing those weaknesses as areas where you're looking to grow.
Right. It's not about pretending to be perfect. It's about showing them we can reflect on ourselves and that we're always striving to get better.
Think about those strengths of yours, those skills and qualities that come naturally and have helped you succeed in the past. Maybe you're a born leader, a problem solver, a great communicator, or someone who really pays attention to the details.
Whatever those strengths are, be ready to back them up with specific examples.
And when it comes to weaknesses, choose things that aren't absolutely essential for the chief conductor role, or things you've already made an effort to improve.
So, for example, if you tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, you could admit that, but you could also say that while it helps you produce high-quality work, you're also learning to delegate and trust your team.
Or maybe public speaking isn't your favorite thing. But you could mention that you've been working on your communication skills by joining Toastmasters or taking a public speaking course.
It's about showing them, your areas for growth and that you're actively trying to improve.
And you guessed it, RoleCatcher can be incredibly useful here. Its AI can look at your work history, your skills, even your personality traits, and help you identify your strengths and weaknesses.
Wow, it's like having a personal career coach, helping us understand ourselves better.
Exactly. It can also suggest ways to frame those weaknesses as opportunities for growth, making sure you present yourself in the best light possible. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here. It's amazing how much goes into preparing for those interview questions. But there's one more that's often overlooked, and it's really important. Do you have any questions for us?
This isn't just them being polite, right? It's our chance to learn more about the company, the job, and the team. And it's a chance to show them we're really interested and engaged.
You got it. It's about going deeper, asking those insightful questions that show you've done your homework and you're thinking critically.
For example, we could ask about the company's safety culture, or their training programs for chief conductors, or their plans for the future, like growth and expansion.
You could also ask about the team dynamics on board, the opportunities for career advancement, or how the company is approaching innovation and technology.
By asking smart questions, we're showing them we're not just looking for a job, we're looking for a place to contribute, learn, and grow.
And guess what? You probably saw this coming. RoleCatcher can help you with this too. Its AI can analyze the company's profile, industry trends, even employee reviews, and suggest some great questions that'll really impress them.
It's like having a secret weapon in your job search toolkit. You're not going in blind. You're armed with information and a personalized strategy.
You got it. It's all about using technology to your advantage and making the most of every opportunity to shine.
Wow, I'm feeling so much more confident about tackling those Chief Conductor interview questions now. We've covered a lot of ground.
You've done a fantastic job taking it all in. You're clearly on the right track to acing that interview and landing your dream job.
But this is just the beginning of our deep dive.
You're right. In the next part, we'll really dig into specific examples from RoleCatcher's question bank, giving you even more tools and strategies to really impress those interviewers.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with more insights and advice to help you become a Chief Conductor.
So, we've laid some solid groundwork for your Chief Conductor interview prep. Now it's time to put those skills to the test, right? We're going to break down some sample questions from RoleCatcher's awesome database.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Getting familiar with these questions beforehand can make a world of difference. You'll feel way more confident when you're actually in the interview.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so let's go back to that classic opening question. What inspired you to become a Chief Conductor? Remember, it's not just about listing facts or giving a generic answer. It's about sharing your passion for the railway. Let them see what drives you.
Yeah, it's like we're painting a picture with words, Instead of just saying, I've always been interested in trains, We need to make the interviewer feel that passion. Take them on a journey with us.
Exactly. Think back to that moment when you realized, this is it. This is what I want to do. Was it the excitement of your first high-speed train ride? Or maybe seeing a busy train station in action, all that coordination and energy?
Maybe it was a family member who worked on the railway, or maybe you were fascinated by trains as a kid. Whatever it was, make it personal. Bring that memory to life for them.
Now, imagine they follow up with, what unique skills or experiences do you have that would make you a successful chief conductor? This is where you connect your personal story to the specific things they're looking for in a chief conductor.
So we're not just repeating what's on our resume. We're picking out those experiences that really match what the employer wants.
Exactly. If the job description emphasizes safety, you might talk about your time as a volunteer firefighter, where you learn to assess risks and respond quickly under pressure. Or if customer service is key, you could highlight your experience in the hospitality industry, dealing with all kinds of customers, always staying positive.
And this is where RoleCatcher can really help, right? Its AI can look at that job description, find those important keywords, and even suggest which of your experiences to focus on.
It's like having a personal career coach guiding you toward the most effective answers. Now, let's move on to a question that really tests your ability to handle pressure. How do you handle difficult passengers or challenging situations?
Ah, yes. The dreaded difficult passenger scenario. Every chief conductor's nightmare.
True. But remember, it's not about avoiding conflict altogether. It's about showing that you can stay calm, de-escalate the situation, and find a solution.
Right, we talked about the STAR method earlier. Situation, task, action, result. Let's put that into practice. Let's say a passenger refuses to wear a mask, which is a mandatory safety regulation.
Perfect example. So the situation is a passenger breaking the rules. Your task is to keep everyone on that train safe.
The action I took was to calmly approach the passenger, explain the mask policy, offer them a free mask, and emphasize how important it is for everyone to follow the rules.
And the result?
The passenger, maybe a little reluctantly, put on the mask, and a potential conflict was avoided.
Exactly. You use the STAR method to tell a clear and compelling story. You showed that you can enforce the rules while staying professional and respectful. Now, what if the interviewer pushes a little further? They might say, okay, but what if the passenger becomes verbally abusive or completely refuses to cooperate? What would you do then?
That's when we need to demonstrate that we can prioritize safety, but also know our limits.
Exactly. You could mention your training in conflict de-escalation. Emphasize that you can remain calm and assertive. You could also talk about when it's appropriate to get other crew members involved or even call for security or law enforcement.
It's all about showing them that you have a plan for those high-pressure situations and that you're committed to keeping everyone safe and respectful. Okay, let's move on to another super important question. How do you ensure the safety of passengers during an emergency? This goes right to the heart of a chief conductor's job.
Definitely. This is where you showcase your knowledge of those safety protocols, your ability to think on your feet, and your leadership skills.
Instead of just listing off procedures, let's give the interviewer a clear picture of what we would do. Imagine there's a sudden power outage on the train. It's dark, people are getting anxious, and you need to take charge.
Okay, I can feel the tension already. What are our first steps?
Well, the first thing is to turn on the emergency lights. Then we use the intercom to calmly tell the passengers what's happening, let them know we're working on it, and that their safety is our top priority.
Great. Then what?
We contact the train dispatcher immediately, tell them our location and what the emergency is.
Absolutely. You'd follow their instructions and put those emergency procedures into action. That might mean coordinating with other crew members to check on passengers, handing out emergency supplies if we need to, and even preparing for an evacuation if things escalate.
We're showing the interviewer that we know those procedures backward and forward, and that we can lead with confidence and composure in a high-stress situation.
And remember, RoleCatcher can help you refine your answer here. Its AI can look at examples of successful responses and pick out the themes and wording that really resonate with interviewers.
So we can take those elements and use them to make our own answer even better, more tailored to what the employer is looking for. It's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not just guessing. We're using data and AI to create the strongest possible response.
Okay, let's switch gears a little and talk about a question that's all about teamwork and leadership. How do you manage a team of conductors?
This is your chance to showcase your ability to motivate, delegate, give feedback, and create a positive and productive team environment.
It's about being more than just a boss. It's about being a leader who inspires and empowers their team to do their best work.
You got it. Think about your own leadership style. Are you more collaborative, or do you prefer to give direct instructions? Do you lead by example, or do you focus on clear communication?
Whatever our style is, it's important to back it up with real-life examples from our experience. Okay, so let's say the interviewer asks you this. How would you handle a situation where one of your conductors is consistently late or not following safety protocols? It's a common problem, and interviewers want to know that you can address it effectively.
Well, my first step would be to have a one-on-one conversation with that conductor, privately. I'd clearly outline the issues and what's expected of them.
Exactly. You'd emphasize how crucial it is to be on time and to follow those safety protocols to the letter. And you'd explain how their actions affect the entire team.
And I might offer them additional training or support if that seems necessary. Then we'd create a clear plan for improvement.
Right. And if, despite your efforts, their behavior doesn't change, you'd follow the established disciplinary procedures. But always with fairness and respect.
We're showing that we can handle those tough conversations and performance issues directly, but we also support our team's growth and development. Okay, let's tackle that question that everyone dreads a little. What are your salary expectations?
This one can be tough. We don't want to aim too low, but we also don't want to scare them off by asking for too much.
It's all about finding that balance. What's the best approach here?
Be prepared and confident. Before you even walk into the interview room, research the typical salary range for chief conductors in your area, your industry, and with your level of experience.
Sites like Glassdoor and Indeed are super helpful for that kind of research.
Definitely. Once you have a good understanding of what the market is like, decide what salary range you're comfortable with. Think about your qualifications and the specific responsibilities of the job.
So when they ask about your salary expectations, we should be direct and specific. We could say something like, based on my experience and what this role entails, I'm seeking a salary between X and Y.
Right. Remember, it's a negotiation. Be prepared to talk about your expectations and find a solution that works for both you and the employer.
And RoleCatcher can be really useful here too, right? It's AI can analyze salary data for similar positions in your area, so you have a realistic benchmark to start from.
It's like having an insider's guide to salary negotiations. You'll feel much more informed and confident when you're discussing those numbers. Okay, let's shift our focus to the future for a bit. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The classic career aspirations question. This is where we get to show them our ambition and how this chief conductor position fits into our long-term goals.
Exactly. Before the interview, take some time to look into the company's plans. What are their growth goals? What projects are they working on? Think about how your skills and experience can help them achieve those goals.
For example, if they're expanding into high-speed rail, we might mention our interest in specializing in that area.
Exactly. Or if they're focused on implementing new safety technology, you could highlight your passion for staying ahead of the curve and embracing innovation.
It's about showing the interviewer that we're not just looking for a job, but a place where we can grow and contribute and make a real impact.
And you know what's coming. RoleCatcher can help you put together a strong answer for this one too. Its AI can analyze the company's website and news articles to identify those key themes related to their future plans.
It's like having your own personal research assistant working behind the scenes to make sure you're prepared. Now, for a question that sometimes throws people off, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
The classic strengths and weaknesses question. It's all about honesty and self-awareness, but it's also about framing those weaknesses in a positive light, showing that you're always striving to improve.
Right, we're not trying to pretend that we're perfect. It's about demonstrating that we can reflect on ourselves and that we're always trying to get better.
Think about those strengths, those skills and qualities that come naturally to you and have helped you succeed. Maybe you're a great leader, a problem solver, a skilled communicator, or someone who pays close attention to the details.
Whatever those strengths are, have some specific examples ready to share that really illustrate those qualities.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to weaknesses, pick things that aren't absolutely critical for a chief conductor, or things you've already taken steps to improve.
So, for example, if you're a bit of a perfectionist, you could acknowledge that. But you could also say that while it helps you produce high-quality work, you're also learning to delegate tasks and trust your team.
Right. Or maybe public speaking isn't your favorite thing. You could mention that you've been working on your communication skills by joining Toastmasters or taking a public speaking course.
It's all about showing them that you're self-aware, committed to personal growth, and always looking for ways to sharpen your skills.
And guess what? RoleCatcher can be a huge help here too. Its AI can analyze your work history, your skills, even your personality traits, and identify your strengths and weaknesses.
It's like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket, helping you understand yourself better and present yourself in the best possible light. Now, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's one last question that's often overlooked, and it's crucial. Do you have any questions for us?
This is not just a formality. It's your opportunity to learn more about the company, the role, the team, and to show the interviewer that you're genuinely interested and engaged.
Right. It's about going beyond the surface and asking those thoughtful questions that demonstrate you've done your research and you're thinking critically.
For example, you could ask about the company's safety culture, their training and development programs for chief conductors, their commitment to employee well-being, or their vision for the future of passenger rail.
We could also ask about the team dynamics on board the trains, the opportunities for advancement, or the company's approach to innovation and technology.
By asking thoughtful questions, you're showing the interviewer that you're not just looking for any job, but a career where you can contribute, learn, and grow.
And surprise, surprise, RoleCatcher can even help with this.
Yeah.
Its AI can analyze the company's profile, industry trends, even employee reviews, and suggest relevant and engaging questions that will really impress them.
It's like having a secret weapon in your job search arsenal. You're not going in blind. You're prepared and ready to make the most of every opportunity.
So we've covered a ton in this deep dive, breaking down those tough interview questions and really getting into the core of what a chief conductor does.
Yeah, and we've seen how RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer when it comes to, making your answers really stand out and presenting yourself as the perfect candidate.
But I'm curious, how does RoleCatcher take your prep from, good to amazing? It's more than just having a list of questions, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it as your personal interview strategist. It goes way beyond those generic tips and really dives deep into the specifics of the job you're going for.
Okay, now you've got me interested. Tell me more. How does it actually work?
So it starts with that job description. RoleCatcher's AI doesn't just read it, it analyzes it. It picks out those keywords, those essential skills and qualities that the employer really wants. Is it being super careful with safety procedures? Is it having incredible customer service skills? Is it leading a team with confidence?
So it's like having this AI detective, combing through that job description, finding those hidden clues that we might miss.
Exactly. And then it takes those keywords and connects them to your skills and experiences. It helps you see where your strengths really align with what they're looking for.
Like a personalized skills matchmaker, connecting what you bring to the table with what the employer really needs.
And it goes even further than just matching. RoleCatcher helps you actually write your answers to those interview questions, making sure they really hit home with that specific employer. Remember those stories we talked about, those real-life examples?
Yeah, those are so important for bringing your experiences to life, really showing what you can do.
Exactly. Well, RoleCatcher can suggest which stories to tell, which details to focus on, all based on what's going to make the biggest impact on that hiring manager.
So it's like having an AI editor for your interview script, helping you polish those stories and make them even stronger.
Right on. But here's where it gets really cool. RoleCatcher's AI gives you personalized feedback on your answers. It's not just a good job or try again. It's detailed and specific.
Wow, so it's not just a pat on the back. It's really digging into your answers and giving you constructive criticism.
Exactly. It'll tell you, is your answer clear and concise? Are you using strong action verbs? Are you hitting those key words that the employer is looking for?
It's like having an AI interview coach in your corner, giving you that extra boost you need to stand out.
You got it. And the best part is, it's not just about what you say. RoleCatcher's video interview feature lets you actually practice in a realistic setting.
So we can record ourselves answering these questions and get feedback on how we come across.
That's right. The AI analyzes everything, from your tone of voice to your body language. It helps you catch any nervous habits or areas where you might need to project more confidence.
Like having a virtual mock interview, but with the added benefit of AI feedback.
Exactly. It's all about taking your prep to that next level, going from just answering questions to delivering these polished, confident responses that really make an impact.
So we've come a long way. From understanding what it takes to be a chief conductor, to mastering those tough interview questions, to now harnessing the power of AI to really shine, this deep dive has been amazing.
And remember, getting ready for an interview isn't just about memorizing answers. It's about sharing your passion, your experience, and what makes you unique.
It's about telling your story in a way that connects with the employer and leaves them thinking, we need this person on our team.
And as you go through this process, remember that RoleCatcher is there with you every step of the way, guiding you, supporting you, and helping you go from a prepared candidate to an exceptional one.
Good luck with your Chief Conductor interview. We know you're going to do great. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.